Week number 17 of the NFL kicks off between the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets on Friday at 12:15. Christmas has come and gone, and now it's time for New Year's Day, New Year's Eve football. Let's get into the week picks as well as how I went in week number 16 in the NFL.
Subscribe to Entertain House.
So last week I didn't have the greatest of rounds, but I ended up okay result overall. I went half and half. I went 8 out of 16 games correct, so half the games right, half them wrong. It was a really red hot start because I did have the Los Angeles Rams to win by exactly 8 against the New Orleans Saints, and they did do that. Had Buffalo winning by a big margin, and they snatched it against the Chargers there by 2 points. I had Green Bay by 7, they won by 3. New York Jets, that was a crazy game between New York Jets and Washington. Neither team wanted to win, but New York decided, hey, we'll take that win off your hands. Seattle edged out a win over Tennessee. And a big one, the Ravens. Now, I did pick them by 1, and they won by a massive margin, winning a statement, but very happy to pick the Baltimore Ravens. Not many people did against the 49ers in that game last week. I said it, I reckon in this game, the Ravens win. Super Bowl, I reckon the 49ers win. So if it happens, I'm backing the Niners there. I'm currently coming 980th out of 7,924 people in the globe for tipping. Started to drop down a little bit, and 95th, so back in the top 100 in Australia out of 653. But let's get into this week's game. And as I mentioned, it's the Cleveland Browns, who are 3 straight dubs, who are looking good in the AFC, taking on the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets are coming off a win, conceded a lot of points in that game. They were up by a decent margin as well, started to slip the lead away, and were able to grind out that win. Whereas the Browns, they're playing really well. They've got nice defense. They're doing a great job without some of the personnel that's missing. And they're probably going to get some of that personnel in the next few weeks as well. So I've got the Cleveland Browns here. I like what they're doing. I think at home, they're going to be too strong for the New York Jets. I think this is one of those games coming up this week that I don't think will necessarily be that close, even though it's that kind of primetime game, Thursday night football. I'm going to go the Cleveland Browns to win this one by 13 because I think they're just way too good for the New York Jets, and there's a lot to play for right now. Then you've got the Dallas Cowboys at home taking on the Detroit Lions. Now, it's a different story for both of these teams. You've got the Detroit Lions, who have just clinched the NFC North for the first time in, I think, 20 or 30 years. Been a long time coming, so congratulations to the Lions. Have gone back-to-back dubs, and then the Dallas Cowboys have lost back-to-back games. Now, they probably could have won that game against Miami. It was a really close game, but unfortunately, another loss for the Dallas Cowboys, and coming into the playoff, that is not what they need. They were looking like they were going to be a top 1-2 NFC seed, and now it looks like a struggle staring down the barrel of potentially 3 straight losses against a fairly good Detroit team. It's tough for Detroit because as well as they're playing, they go to Dallas, and Dallas, they have a great record at home, which makes it tough. And I'm going to go Dallas here. I reckon Dallas are going to win this one. Detroit are a massive price, about $3.50, and I love that price. I think that Detroit can cover a line of 7.5. I think they can. But I feel like Dallas are going to be able to snatch this win at home, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one's a blowout. I wouldn't be too surprised if Dallas win by a big margin because they need to put points on the board right now and show just how good their offense is. So I'm going to go the Dallas Cowboys by 4. I do think this will be a close game, but I see a world where the Cowboys win by a bigger margin. But hey, I trust Detroit to keep it close, but I think that Dallas are going to win at home. And you've got the Baltimore Ravens, easily the best team in the AFC right now, taking on the Miami Dolphins in a fantastic game. Now, these are 2 of the best teams in the AFC going at it. The Baltimore Ravens are chasing their 6th straight win, whereas the Dolphins are looking to go 3 in a row. A great win against Dallas. I think they were at home as well. So, they go on the road here against a tough Ravens team, coming off a really, really nice win. The Ravens, lots of interceptions for Brock Purdy throughout that game, but the Ravens and Lamar Jackson playing really, really good at the moment. I do think this game will be closer than people think. I think a lot of people will think Ravens 10 plus immediately here just because of how well they've been. The worrying thing is that teams who have a really good record in the NFL seem to let that slip, and quite often at home when they're 5-6 wins in a row. But I'm going to trust the Ravens just here. I think the Ravens are going to edge this one out by 1 touchdown. I'm going to go the Ravens by 7. I love what I've seen from Miami, but I think that the Ravens are just a level above better, and I think that their running game is way too good to be ignored, and I think that Dallas showed that they could run a little bit through Miami, and I feel like Baltimore will be running all night once again. So I've got the Ravens winning by 7 in what should be a great game on Monday at 5 a.m. on New Year's Day. And the Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium will host the New England Patriots. The Patriots, they handed the Denver Broncos that loss and said, enjoy your playoffs miss. You've missed the playoffs now. It's impossible, I think, now for Denver to make it. Otherwise, there's a very slim chance. They look like they could do it, had to win that game, and now the Patriots snatched that one. And, Bailey Zappi on the sidelines, Bill Belichick cheering, and then Bill Belichick just, very neutral about it. Just a great coach. But as for this game, the Buffalo Bills, 3 straight wins, just a win over the Chargers. The Patriots could give it to them, give them a bit of a scare, playing a little bit well. But I think the Buffalo Bills, they're playing much better than they were at the start of the year. I know they had that close game last week, but I think that they've played really, really good recently. And I think that win against Dallas a couple of weeks ago really kick-started potentially their season and their playoff ticket. So we'll see what happens. But I think the Buffalo Bills win 14 plus here. I'm going to go the Buffalo Bills to win by 15 points at home. And I think that was a kind of one-off win for the New England Patriots. And you've got the Chicago Bears at home coming off a win, taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who are also coming off a win. This is going to be an interesting game because both of these sides, they were in the race for that playoff spot hunt, and I guess they're still just in the hunt, but they're both 2 teams that probably won't make the playoffs, or if one does, the other won't. The Bears are playing better. They're actually playing okay, and I want to give them some credit. But the Falcons beat the Colts for mine, and I think that the Colts are actually a fairly solid team. I know they've had some slip-ups. I don't think the Bears are going to be able to win this one. I think I'm going to regret this because I think the Bears are somehow going to win this game. But I'm going to go the Atlanta Falcons. I think they've got a little bit more to play for. They're in a better position than the Chicago Bears winning-wise. I'm going to go the Atlanta Falcons to get the win. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as the game, or as they'll put up as many points as the game the other day. But I'm going to go the Atlanta Falcons to edge out the Chicago Bears by 4 points in this game at Soldier Field. Got the Houston Texans taking on the Tennessee Titans. Now, I think these teams met a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the Tennessee Titans beat the Texans. Either that or it was a really close game, one of the two. And the Houston Texans, they've been going win-loss, 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 and they've coming off a loss. The Tennessee Titans coming off back-to-back losses after a nice win 2 weeks ago. Tennessee looking a lot better. A good performance against the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Texans win. I'm a little bit worried because obviously CJ Stroud's still out for the Texans, and I did tip them last week pretty confidently. I think if they don't win this week, they will not be in the playoffs. I think there are teams that are coming for them, and I think that their mindset right now, whether CJ be there or not be there, is we've done this before, let's do it again. I think the Texans win a very exciting game. I think Tennessee's going to give it to them, but I think that the Texans win by 5 points at home. Colts taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders scored, 60 points a couple weeks ago and then beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So they are coming for a spot in the wild card. Are they going to make it? Maybe if they win this game, it'll be massive. The Colts have gone win-loss in recent weeks after a nice win streak a couple of weeks ago. Their season's starting to slip away as well. Very important game for them. But for the Raiders, their mentality of winning on the road is so important here. I'm going to go the Colts. This is a very tough game to pick. I'm very tempted to go with the Raiders here, but the Colts have shown some really good signs this season for mine, and I think they should be there in the playoffs. I'm going to go the Colts by 4. It's going to be a tight game. Raiders are going to give it to them. They're playing a lot better than they were a couple of weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, they started to really kick this momentum. They're riding it. They could win this game, but I'm going the Colts by 4. You've got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are chasing their 5th straight loss. Can you believe it? In the AFC, the Jacksonville Jaguars have gone from, one of the dark horse teams to what are they going to do? Who knows? And the Carolina Panthers, coming off a loss, 1 win from their last 6 games on the road. But Jacksonville's just playing really, really weird. I just can't get a read on them. I think they should win this game, but I don't necessarily think they're going to blow Carolina out of the water. So I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars to win by 7. I think they should win. I think it's a very important win. If they don't win, worrying signs all over Jacksonville right now. But I think the Jags are going to win this one. You've got also at 5 a.m. the New York Giants at home taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams have been playing fairly well. They've had 5 wins from their last 6 games. They had the win against the Saints last week, in which they put up 30 points in offense. You've got the New York Giants, who are just not playing as... They had an okay period in the middle there. That 3 straight win, but now they've gone back-to-back losses. So there's not much to say there about the New York Giants. And I think that as good as they played against the Philadelphia Eagles, regardless of being at home or not, the Rams are a much better team there. Give me the Rams. I got the Rams by 9. I think they're a chance of being there in the playoffs. You've got the Philadelphia Eagles. They finally snapped their 3-game losing streak and beat the Giants by, I think, 5 or 8 points the other day. And you got the Arizona Cardinals, who I picked against, I think it was the Bears, and they lost by like 11. So, yeah, I don't have much trust in the Cardinals at all. Whenever I tip them this year, which I think's been 2 or 3 times, I don't think they've won any of those games. The Eagles, their offense has looked awful in recent weeks. Their defense was bad at the start of the year, and it just doesn't look like it's getting much better. I think the Eagles should win this game, but don't be surprised if the Cardinals put up some points here. I'm going to go the Eagles by 12 because I think they are a solid team and they need to win this and show that, they should be winning this game by 18 points minimum. But I think they're going to win by 12. I think they're going to keep within that 14 because the Eagles have looked very shaky in recent weeks. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers chasing their 5th straight win. Baker Mayfield is balling out and this team is playing with so much confidence, and they go at home to the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints have a really good record against the Bucs from memory, I'm pretty sure. But I think it was always, that Tom Brady time where the Saints were always, underdogs and then able to beat them at that time. The Saints, they're coming off a loss against the Rams. They have been playing okay, but I think the Buccaneers are playing really, really well. And I honestly think that the Bucs are one of the dark horses of the entire Super Bowl. I don't think they'll be there on Super Bowl day, but I think if you were to pick a dark horse within the NFC, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if they make the playoffs and they make, 5th seed, then can look out because they are looking really, really red hot. Tampa Bay to win this one by 10 points. I think they could win by more. I'll go 10. But I think Tampa are looking really, really good. You've got the Washington Commanders hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, their win streak has come to an end against the Baltimore Ravens. McCaffrey played well, but Purdy throwing all those interceptions. Don't get me wrong, Purdy has had an absolutely brilliant season, but he must switch back, bounce back for this game. He cannot have a game like that coming into this game against the Commanders. The Commanders put in a really big fight, really big comeback fight against the Jets. So this could be an interesting game. But for me, the 49ers are just way too good not to bounce back. I see them winning big here. The Commanders have leaked points all year. I've got the San Francisco 49ers to win by 18 points. Moving on to the 8 a.m. games on New Year's Day. It is the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. A great win for the Steelers over the Bengals. A great game from Pickens. A great game from, I forget the QB's name, but he played really, really well in that game. And Steelers keeping their season alive. The Seattle Seahawks have gone back-to-back wins in recent weeks against the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tennessee Titans. And this is a tough opponent in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They always seem to just come at the end of the season, turn themselves into a winning record, and it seems to be that time of year. But the Seattle Seahawks are better for mine. I think their defense is much better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They seem to be keeping teams to under that 20 point as well. I think that Seattle win by 7. I could see it being a little bit closer, but I trust Seattle at home at Lumen Field more, and I think they're playing for a spot in the playoffs as well. You've got the Denver Broncos hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Broncos will be devastated with that loss on Christmas Day, again, or Christmas Eve for you guys in America, against the New England Patriots, but they have to wipe that. They have to see if they can do something this season or start to build towards next season at least. And the Los Angeles Chargers, just losing against the Bills, leading them early on. I think Denver's going to win. I don't think this is going to be a blowout kind of game. I think that the Chargers have looked a little bit better in recent weeks. There's still not much there. 1 win from their last 6 games, including firing their coach. Really worrying signs there for the Chargers. Hopefully a bit of a rebuild and a good year next year maybe for them. But yeah, the Denver Broncos are a better team for mine in the AFC. So I'm going to go the Denver Broncos to win by 5 because I think those 2 losses are really going to hurt Denver. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if Joe Burrow was playing, this could be a completely different game, and the Bengals could come to Arrowhead and win 40 points to 10. I'm not joking. The Chiefs are awful right now. Our offense needs a lot of work, and we do not look like a threat in this season going back-to-back at all. It would be a miracle for the Chiefs to be there on Super Bowl day. I still think we make the playoffs. I still think we get a couple of wins, but my God, we need to stop letting teams get off to flying starts and then trying to come back right at the end, because sometimes it works, and as you've seen in recent weeks, sometimes it doesn't, and this win-loss is not good enough for the Chiefs right now. The Cincinnati Bengals, they're coming off a loss against the Steelers, but before that, they were a very dangerous team, 3 wins in a row. Just like the Raiders, who put up 60 points and were underestimated by the Chiefs. Do I think the Chiefs are going to win? I don't even know. Am I going to tip them? Yeah, I'm going to go the Kansas City Chiefs by 7. I still think there is some good within our offense. I think we've got some good defenders. Patrick Mahomes needs to definitely step up in this game, though. I love Patrick, but there has definitely been some very questionable moments and some easy drops and some just silly decisions from the Chiefs in recent weeks. And I'm very worried. I'm very worried in this game because Cincinnati love to come for the Chiefs. But I'm going to go the Chiefs by 7. And the final game of the week sees the Minnesota Vikings, who are now without TJ Hawkinson, which is a massive out, going up against the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers just beat the Panthers. I was trying to remember who they played. They just beat the Panthers. They went back-to-back losses before that, but they have had 4 wins from their last 6 games. So a pretty nice record there, and the Packers potentially looking for a playoff spot still. It's going to be tough for them. It's going to be very, very tough, but they still can make it over there in the NFC. They're playing in Minnesota, but Minnesota are missing personnel. They're not the team that we saw, 5 weeks ago for mine. I think they've really, really dropped off from what I thought they were going to be coming into the playoffs, and I don't necessarily think they're going to be there. I've got the Green Bay Packers winning this one. I think they can get this important win on the road by 8 points. Anyway, guys, that is it for my NFL picks. Let me know yours in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I want to wish you all a very happy new year over there in America. And if you're here in Australia as well, I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas. And I'll see you guys later.